technology. So the title is, how can technology help a company save both time and money to meet your manufacturing needs? So I'd like to introduce our moderator onto the stage, who is Frances Harder. You might recognize her from being over at the Fashion Lab stage. She did a couple presentations on costing and building a brand earlier today and yesterday. She also has a booth with a few books, so if you haven't yet, go ahead and check out her booth by the Fashion Lab stage. Hi, Frances. Oh yeah, you got a mic right there. She's the founder and CEO of Fashion for Profit. Welcome. Next we have Ram Serene. He is the head coach and founder of Tukatech. Raise your hands if you guys have heard of Tukatech. Okay, don't be shy. No. Okay, we got it here. So Tukatech has been a leader as far as innovation goes for technology in the apparel industry for some time. I remember even when I was in college 10 years ago, we were doing case studies about them. So there's some very exciting new technologies that are emerging that will help startups and small to mid-sized companies save costs through technology. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys take it away.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. We've got an exciting little seminar here, which I think is very, very appropriate for what's happening in the industry. We're looking for speed to market. We're looking for mass customization. We're looking for these new technologies that is changing the industry. And with us today, we have Ram Serene. I've known Ram for, I don't know, about 25 years, I think. And we've been through many changes within the industry. And I think you'll agree, we're in a very, very exciting time. And I think it's exciting for startup companies because the stores are not looking to buy big orders anymore. They're looking to buy more often, smaller orders, and fulfilling with speed to market. We're also looking at mass customization. So I'll let Ram, of course, he's the expert. He's got the software. And at the end of this presentation, he's got a very exciting announcement. I don't even know what it's about yet, but he's announcing it today for the first time, what is happening with Tuka and their new patent. So thank you, Ram.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. So, does anybody disagree with my mantra? Change is constant, growth is optional. This is what I live by, I have lived by, and I don't think I'm going to change at this age. I very strongly believe that we all have solutions, we just fail to recognize the problem. Anyone can solve a problem, but the biggest problem is first identifying the problem, isn't it? You agree? Well, then let's find out. We all say technology, but you know what? First, if you understand the problem, then you'll be able to provide the right solutions. There's no point selling a shampoo to a guy who doesn't have hair. I'm not going to talk about all the intricacies and all the challenges, but I do want to highlight a few things. Everybody is talking about consumer, market, retail. They're talking about Amazon, e-commerce. But do you understand this is not such an easy industry? Back 20 years ago, my son was studying to be an astrophysicist. And I thought, introducing him in the wrong way, I guess, I told some friend of mine, this is my son, he's going to be a rocket scientist. He didn't say anything at that time, but later he told me, Dad, rocket scientists are there, I'm astrophysicist. Rocket scientist sounded really, really exciting. I wrote a paper in 1998 that the apparel industry is not rocket science. It's actually way more complicated than that. So I'm going to stand up so I can understand this. We talk about manufacturing demands, demand manufacturing, micro factories. How many of you have heard these buzzwords called micro factories? Can I see a show of hands? All right. But do you understand who you're making for? Who is this consumer? Are they really what you thought it was? I'll be more than happy to share this presentation. Just sign up and give your email address and we'll be able to send you this. But their behavior is very, very hard to predict. Today, the same consumer may go to Nordstrom for $200 shirt, in the afternoon at Costco to buy wholesale products, and then stop by at 99-cent stores for the thrill of shopping, okay? So how do you predict that consumer? Who is your consumer? There are so many demands from these consumers. So if you really want to know who that customer is, and what do they want, how do they interact with brand, and what do they want in that product? The value chain, we talk about the customers. We really have to understand in deep understanding of monitoring their behavior, just like we are monitoring our stock keeping units. How they are doing, their data, their matrix is as important as any data. Customer relationships, the point of presence, and then relationships. Understanding these assets, a lot of people talk about factories. The old days, we had very large factories, we had a lot of inventories. Those were the old assets. Today, if you want to be in business, you could be a startup, and you have to understand, are you a brand? People are very important in the organization, the relationship with the customers and the information. Have any of you ever made a mistake? Anyone who hasn't made a mistake, can you show me hands? Okay, so there's one person who's always right, but most of us have made mistakes, correct? It was not our intention, or was it? Then we're making the decision that let's make a mistake, let's make a bad decision today. It only became a bad decision when new information came in. Oh, based on that new information, that decision was wrong. So the key today is the information. If you have the right information, you have the right systems, you have the right technologies, whether it is the RFID technology or smart anything, whether signs or labels or smart cards, they have been in business for a very long time. What are they providing? They're providing us the data, the information. Are we using that information? What was life before Google? Anybody who's a parent here and try to talk to your child 10 years older, before you finish your sentence, they are checking on Google if you're right. If they can do it, are we able to do that for our businesses? So understanding the data, the analytics, whether it is through websites. I have a client in St. Louis Obispo. That was the first customer of ours who went demand manufacturing. They have no sample making. They have no samples for shooting. They are running a $40 million company. Truly the first in the world to be a demand manufacturing. Anybody who wants to write the name, company is called Voler, VOLER.com. They make bicycle apparel. And those of us who have seen the bikers of the weekend, have you noticed they wear the same product, same bicycle tops, bicycle shorts. So what's the difference? Look at their bodies and their shapes and their sizes, they're all different. Look at their graphics. Now think of it as a designer or a manufacturer or a brand. You have to be almost God to be able to predict what inventory should you keep in which sizes. Go to their website and you'll see 1,000+ iterations of the same product. Google Analytics gives me the information which style or which graphic is not even being looked at. All I do is go into the system, change the graphics, and I have a new sample. It cost me $13 of time. I'm going to go through it a little fast because I want to get down to the meat and potatoes and get you guys excited because it looks like some of you are not getting this one. unless you want me to stay with that, the retail part. What is happening with the retail? Do you understand? The brands don't make any difference to the millennials. Their value is very different in buying, and they are the one who's controlling this. Those of us living in the past tense are going to become historical data. Their value system is very different. They don't want to buy a lot of garments. Go to any millennial's closet and you will find more than 50% of their garments they use every day or use regularly, whereas consumer data shows most of the women have less than 10% of clothes in their closet that they really enjoy wearing it. And the reason is the fit. My mantra in fashion is fit. You can make the best looking garment, you can attract the person on the picture, you can have them on the windows, but the only way you're going to get the money is when they come out of the fitting room and they like the way it fits them, or they keep the garment. So in optimizing the planning of assortment, pricing, markdowns, if you look at all the areas that the retailer has to go through, it's a huge challenge. So what are the solutions? We talk about this all the time, technology, but where does this technology really start? I call the oxygen room of fashion industry is the product development or the patent room. Everybody agrees or disagree? Without the patent room or without the patents, can you make something in fashion? Can you sell? You got nothing to show, nothing to sell. And it's all about patents, how you do it right first time, and what happens from that engineered pattern for everybody, whether it's a fabric buyer to calculate how many yards do we need, or is anyone in the chain, they need the data from the patents. How long will it take to cut? How long will it take to sew? And so on and so on. So we started working on the product development, and the objective was to simplify the pattern making. Put some artificial intelligence. All the CAD systems have only 3 functions: pattern making, the next one is grading, and the next one is marker making, correct? Now grading and marker making is pure science. I don't need people, I can train the computers. And I'm first time, this morning our lawyers advised, that something that we've been working 12 years in the making is now patented and we can show it. So I'm very excited that I'll be able to show you. I really wanted to help the regular person to be able to make patents without having to go to fashion school or patent making school. I know what I want. It's similar to, I know the measurements that I want, let the computer make the patterns. That's artificial intelligence. So brace yourself, I'll be showing you that video first time, okay? Virtual fitting. We make the patterns, and our next 3 courses, because we're making flat patterns, we don't know the integrity of that. So we cut a garment, we sew a garment, we put it on the dummy to find out if the pattern fits, or even it's balanced. Sometimes I forgot to put certain things in there. How do I know by looking at flat patterns? I don't. Instead of going through the old route, we developed a 3D system. Virtual product development. I'm a mechanical engineer. 50 years in the garment business, I've never lost focus on one thing. If I'm going to benchmark, I'm not going to benchmark another idiot in the garment industry because he's going to take me down. And I'm not certainly going to follow another technology company who's making technology for only looking at a patchwork or a band-aid. So I need to look at like an automotive company because that truly is a complex, very complex industry. And garment industry is even more complex. If I made automobiles the way we develop products in the garment industry, the Honda Civic will sell for $100,000. So that is how much money we're dropping the way we are working in the garment industry. Because all the money is dropped in the product development, even the things that you can't count, the time it takes to get the sample or the look approved. I could have just lost my opportunity to be in the market at the time when things were hot. So, collaboration. You heard of cloud. The data is in cloud. I come from California, where we have more than 2,000 companies who have 4.5, maybe average pattern makers, 4.5 pattern makers in the company. And they make between 300 to 500 new styles per month. They go to market 13 times a year. Every time you have to come up with new line. If I had to do it the tech back way and the fittings and so on, I would be out of business. In California, we make what we call disposable clothing. Junior market, cheap clothing, but high fashion. We want to be out there, and I need to put that in the technology so that we could feel like we're in the same room, but whether we are working in China, India, Bangladesh, or Pakistan, Eastern Europe, or in Central America, but with the internet available, I need to collaborate as though I'm in the same room, and that's what the cloud does. The garment manufacturing requires engineering, whether it's the cutting rooms or the sewing rooms, and the micro factories are taking a little more momentum now than when we started out the first micro factory in 2012. 2012, we invented microtechnology, launched it at Cal Poly Pomona. That went viral, and the first customer was Bonaire in California. But today we have more than 250 companies who don't even make a sample. And they go to production. You know, the funny part about this is the customer of theirs is actually financing them. Have you ever thought of that? I have blank fabric. I have everything I needed in the digital format. You buy your size, I print your size on the fabric. I cut and sew and ship while I've already been paid. Not a bad business model, is it? Is it? 5 years ago, a lot of young people used to come to me and say, Mr. Sareen, we want you to be on our board of advisors because we are raising money. Okay, son, tell me what's your background in the apparel. Oh no, I'm a Stanford graduate. I'm a Yale graduate. I'm a UCLA graduate. We used to bow out thinking the guy is going to take to invest this money and really go down. Well, guess what? 5 years later, they're laughing at us. They didn't have any baggage of how apparel business is done. They only looked at the problems and found the technologies to make it happen. These are the guys who are running between $5 to $50 million companies today. And in 2018, they took $1.83 billion away from these retailers. These retailers were also like me 5 years ago, used to just, oh, what? It's a startup company, what are they going to do? Well, everybody's waking up to the new business models. So, at Magic Show, we actually decided to exhibit something and show people, rather than just talk about it or just show a patch. We took a body scan of a person. We designed and developed the garment to fit them. We actually printed on demand. And then we cut it and we sewed it and we delivered it in 2 hours and 43 minutes. 2 hours and 43 minutes from designing to finishing the garment. The same can be applied towards the sample room. I have a small video to show how that thing was done. 2 hours and 43 minutes for the entire process. Not bad, thank you. You know, when we talk about it, thank you. They recorded it, it was on local television, people understood because somehow or the other, they witnessed the entire process. Because we actually showed the whole thing. But I'm going to tell you something. There are so many of our small customers who have this thing and who are making strides in the retail business. I'm going to share one little slide. And this is a case study of a company in Pakistan. Literally all the things that I talked about, how did they use? And you know, we have 9 young people, all 30 years or under, start up a company, and they are multimedia, they are what I call the Google generation, doing all the things on their phones, the mobile phones. And they decided they're going to do it in a little different way. They put one sample out there, and they had one of the celebrities wear that, and they posted that on the social media. And everybody has some followers. And this social media person had a little over 500,000 followers. They had all these people sitting down analyzing the data, who is following who, because the followers also had small leaders who had their own followers. And then they started analyzing what are they wearing, what colors, what are their body shapes, what do they look like, and so on, and design the line based on that. They only produce what they sell. There's no inventory. All they have is a fabric. So I have a small video from them telling you what they do. And this is only a 1.5 year old company. Already now they are putting some stores where customers can come in and feel and touch, because that is still missing, okay?
So hi, this is Prabhat. Basically I'm heading Lucid. Lucid is a brand for matrix sourcing, and the main idea behind the brand and the company is that we really want to move towards really high-tech technologies in means of product development, pattern development, print development, and brand development. So the circle basically starts off from a single sketch, and once the sketch is handed over to the pattern maker, he works on the pattern. And once the pattern is developed, print designer tabs the required print placements and everything.
Then you take it into the 3D to model it, fix your pattern, see where the fabric isn't falling right, see the loose areas, the tight areas, which are all color coded, easy to understand. And then taking that to a final design stage, and then you cut a final round, which is very important. And that's enabled us to come up with a 100 style without physically sampling till everything is approved.
Once the market making is done, the file is transferred to print machine and we take out the print on fabric. We don't waste ink on the excess area, and we right away print the area that is required. The panels, the sleeves, stuff, and the placement prints. It's a really efficient, fast process.
We might have done 4 cycles of printing to finalize one print and one style. We are now just going into the final run after our styles typically and our printing. So the whole process is very efficient. It's much faster than typical sampling, and frankly is more accurate than typical sampling.
Ram, are they producing single layer when they showed that example, or are they doing multi-layered cutting?
It's only one garment at a time.
Only one garment at a time.
Now, some of us may think that this is so ridiculous, so expensive, but just think about it, okay? Sometimes in dresses you have 2 or 3 different patterns. you have a block printing, you have a border printing, flower at certain place. So your utilization of marker or fabric will be so bad because you put in the cart before the horse. You're printing the fabric and then matching the pattern the way it does go. On the other way, you now do digital printing. So you marry the print to the pattern piece, where does it go? And it doesn't matter where I place it.
And you can match the prints on the side seams or wherever.
Absolutely. Look at all the bicycle apparel. All of that is matched to the sleeve, to the front, to the back, the sides, and so on. Those graphics are matched by the size.
Doesn't it drive you crazy, Ram, when you're seeing all these chevron skirts with stripes on it and they don't match? All the check shirts with the no matching on the side seam. Anyone from the industry see that? Just drives me crazy.
Well, the reason for that is we are trying to reduce the cost, so-called cost, but does everybody know what the true cost is? You ask any retailer, you've heard a lot of these nonsense numbers. If those numbers were great, all these retailers wouldn't be closing up today. But they are all trying to bring volume, bring it cheaper, or the slow boat, because my cost is low. But when you start the season with 50% off and then you drop it and so on, and your markdown cost is almost 50%, why aren't we still making money? It's because we buy the wrong things at the wrong time at the wrong price. I'd rather buy what I need, I sell, and make full money on it, and still give a very reasonable price. If you think about digital printing, the digital printing today is almost the same price as a regular printing. The printing technology has really, really gone so far ahead, it's not even funny. But if I'm able to calculate, even in the mass manufacturing, that I need 968 yards, I print 968 yards. I don't have to buy minimum 2,000 yards. Because if you think about it, okay, I bought $3 a yard, but I had to buy 2,000 yards. I used 968. Did I really use the 968 at $3 a yard? Because the rest of 1,000 yards, I'm going to have to sell it for $1 a yard. Those revisiting to sell the same fabric somewhere else, all that takes away from the regular business practices. You have to think like an automobile companies. You make what you sell. You don't have factories full of making all green cars and nobody's buying them. Yeah, you see some weird looking colors. Those were made on order. Somebody really liked them, okay? There wasn't a person thinking, yes, go ahead. Microphone for the, excuse me, microphone please. Microphone, thank you, somebody's coming up. But you can ask louder and I'll say. He's bringing in.
I got it, here we go.
Thank you. My question is, I have a production company where I'm trying to kind of keep everything in-house with my organization instead of going out and outsourcing. So my question is, would this product be able to help me with my in-house production where I have to, if I have a mass production order where I can't go to a manufacturer, would I be able to use this in-house?
Good question.
Because I'm trying to understand as far as if I have a design in my head, just for example, I just made a wedding dress for a client. What I did with this wedding dress is that I didn't have an actual pattern, so I made the pattern from muslin with a muslin test fit, right? And I put it on a mannequin and I created the pattern from the muslin. Then from there, I drafted that to the pattern, to the fabric that I used and cut it from the muslin pattern that I created. So my question is, how would this benefit me if I make bridal or wedding gowns? How would this program or this product that you have, I'm kind of asking 3 questions. I'm asking the question about...
Actually it's 4, but let's carry on. I'll answer you all 4.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I'm asking about the production with me being a bridal, with designing bridal wear. And I'm also asking if I have a design in my head, like a sketch, and I want to create my own patterns with, basically if I have a design of an actual design that I want to put on make my own fabric, how would I be able to do that with this program?
Okay, so first of all, the answer is yes, yes, and no, and yes. Okay, so the 5 questions. So, stop it, okay? You have to laugh once in a while. We're in the garment industry. We have enough tensions. Okay, so you don't want to bring everything in-house because you're not the expert in everywhere. So work with the experts. Whatever is your expertise, do that first. Outsource whatever you can that you cannot do, or you cannot justify the amortization of the technology. The process that you describe is a very old-time process of draping on a mannequin, putting the muslin on, and then digitizing it, because the behavior of muslin is going to be different than the behavior of the fabric. Whatever fabric. In virtual world, we have what we call the physics of the fabric. There are a lot of 3D technologies out there. Every one of them creates every one of them. If you hear it all, every one of them creates a look. We create a fit. We have a real-time motion simulation because a dummy in the computer can't tell me it's tight. The fit model tells me, and I need that dummy to tell me the same thing the fit model tells me. I'm doing the pants. How do I really check the fit in my fitting room? I asked my model to do the squat test. Mark will tell you. We ran Gap, Levi's. When you sit down, you find out if the rise is balanced. Have you heard when the thing starts sliding down and you have a plumber's crack? I need to look at it before the garment is made, and that's what 3D technology is all about. You can do wonders with 3D technology, no different than automobile companies or all these aerospace companies do what they call emulation or simulation. Question now is, can you afford to do it yourself? 20 years ago, I started a company called Tuka Web. Under Tuka Web, I made Tuka Centers. Tuka Centers were the inspiration came from Kinko's. I don't have to be a multi-billion-dollar company. I could be working out of my garage, but I can go to Kinko's and produce myself an amazing-looking proposal with the color binders and so on, and be one of the big boys. The inspiration came when I was driving my motorhome that I paid $250 million. That was the biggest mistake, by the way. I drove it once only. Anyway, so, and I saw a guy right next to me also driving, and I found that he was renting it for a week. So why do I have to spend so much money? We started Tuka Centers to help startup companies, smaller companies, people who have the desire but not the capital, who have the idea. I can honestly tell you there are more than 200 companies in California who started with nothing, but today they're running between $2 to $50 million companies who started from my Tuka Centers. We have 52 Tuka Centers where they provide services. If you know pattern making, good. We're great for you. We'll do patterns for you. You don't know pattern making because you don't have a pattern maker, we'll make patterns for you. We'll make digital samples for you. We are all over the world in the fashion districts. We're a privately held company, but my objective when I started this company was to help the little guy who couldn't afford the technology. What is the difference between the big guy and the small guy? The process is the same. They all have to make patterns, they all have to do grading, they all have to make markers, they all have to make samples, they all have to do the same stuff. The scale is different. So we offered the little guy, we were the first one in the world to offer the pattern makers, get the pattern making system at $200 a month rental. Make your own patterns, do your own grading, make your own markers. Available in 14 languages. Never did I think in my lifetime this will happen that we will have a pattern making system that comes without any training and people learn. I can honestly say we have more than 4,000 users in 60 odd countries that we've never met. They go to our website, just get the software.
All right, so what I want to know is exactly with the software that you use for the pattern is one thing, but you also have a CAD that you keep talking about has the same systematic format of how it works. Each CAD has the same way. So if you had the software interjected with the calculations and the algorithms already set for the presets for your CAD, you can actually just create the 3D image and actually put the prints on that image itself, so you can do the calibrations that you say for like the squat and stuff. Like you can see the rise and the tightness of the fabric as the person would move. But the thing is this: the $200 you're saying is just for the pattern making. What about if you want to actually do the image? You want to do the calculations yourself before sending it to your team to create it, such as the manufacturer for the 2 hours. And if I had like 45 minutes or something like that for the creation of the product itself, how much would that cost?
$29 a month.
Oh my God!
$29 a month. I'm going to be 70 years old. Okay. Yes, I am going to be 70 years old. I started this company after a heart attack and a retirement. I have no investors. We have no marketing, no salespeople. We're in, I think, a little over 300 people in all our offices. Every one of them can actually run a factory, one thing or the other. They are experts in. I wanted to share my knowledge.
Ram, his question, I think, is, would it cost him $29 to rent the system?
Yes.
And the system, by the way, if you see a demonstration of it, and you were talking about draping the wedding dress for your client.
No.
It will do.
No, because remember, there are people who are doing certain things in the product development. There are people who are creating graphics, for example, okay? Prints. They want to visualize, okay?
Right.
But they don't want to make 3D sample. So 3D sample is being made by the person who made the 2D pattern to see how the 3D garment is going to look like. But they are not designers. The designers are the one who are actually approving or disapproving, right? So we gave them the option to take these 3D assets. And you know what? If we have time, I'll pull out some of the videos to show you. I have a client in UK. They make bridesmaids clothing. Okay, they are able to use that $29 a month software because all the assets are built by the factory already. But the customer comes in and says, "Okay, I want to see this top. I want to see this bottom. What I want to see the dress with this kind of top and this kind of bottom and this fabric and these embroideries and these." They are able to visualize and then order it in 3D, not sketches.
Right, I like that idea because like with mine, and I'm not trying to take up too much time, I'm just trying to understand this whole system. So you're saying that it's $29 a month to lease this program. That's what you're saying?
Correct.
So
as a designer.
As a fashion designer, right. So what I'm saying is, so for my design team that I have, she's a part of it. When we have these consultations with these clients and someone comes and says, I want this bridal gown. So you're saying that you may have the bottom of a dress or the top of a bodice. So we would take basically the samples of what you have and put it together based on the design.
Correct.
So the design that we have, like the design that I sketch, I'll go in and I'll click like a bodice top or a mermaid bottom and put it together. And what you're saying is from that system, I could take this program and I would be able to put that in the system and it'll scan as a pattern.
Hold on for 1 second. Mike, could you ask them to insert one of the things in their new design room that I want to talk about? Okay. Yes, dear. Yes, dear. Yes.
It'll make the pattern.
No. See, the thing is, this is where technology plays a major role, okay? I'm going to take an example, okay?
Okay.
Same route.
So once it's printed out...
I'm not even going to go there right now, so help me out with this one. How many of you have sample rooms? How many of you? Sample rooms? You have sample racks? Organized by tops or dresses or bottoms or whatever you were making, by maybe sometimes seasons and so on, right? And the designer comes and looks at that and says, I love the neckline of this blouse, I love the length of this dress, I love this sleeve of this one. Take 4 or 5 garments and walk up to the pattern maker. Pattern maker has what? The patterns for those. Designer doesn't. If I gave them the patterns for all these, they wouldn't know what the hell this thing looks like. So I made a system, another $29 a month for those people, where I have the digital assets. Those assets came from the 2D patterns, draped on a model, which is the same fit model, so that fit is exactly the same. And then, you have it? No. The new design room. Not this one. While you're at this one, can I touch base on this one too? Okay, just go back to 0 on this one. To go back to play. You know, California has 4.5 million blank t-shirts sold every day. Did everybody know that data? 4.5 million blank t-shirts sold every day. Where are they sold to? Not to the public. The second tier people. No. Second tier people. Somebody buys 50,000 a month, 100,000 a month. They are graphic designers. They are doing the things to the blank t-shirt and then they are selling it. Now, what are they doing? They are doing the artwork and the Photoshop, illustrators and so on. And we said, all right, no problems. Rather than you trying to sketch it and trying to figure out if the graphic is to the scale or not, why don't I give you a 3D garment? Okay, so go ahead, run this one, this video, the one that you ran. Same principle applies to, doesn't matter what, okay?
End-to-end solutions powered by Tech, transforming fashion businesses with innovative.
The video that you ran. Okay. Technology having technical difficulties. Okay. So what I wanted to do we got some exciting things, it just really keeps me up at night, coming up with some new ideas. Okay. They call me Mr. Disruptor. You like that? Mr. Disruptor. My parents hated it. I was thrown out of 7 schools by the time I finished high school. Every time the principal used to write, too disruptive. I didn't know it was in my DNA. I've never done anything what others do. And I have no plans of changing now. You know those days when consultants will tell you, you need to organize yourself, man. You need to make a to-do list. Oh, the list is too long, then you must classify must do, can do, shall do. How many of you have heard that? Okay, now this is the first time you're going to listen from me. You must make a not to-do list every day. Choose one thing in your work that you do every day and say, why am I doing it? Can I run my business without doing it? That's disruption at every place. Because what you did yesterday was yesterday's business model, not today's. Today, you need to find another way of doing it, or growth is optional.
Ram, so apparently there's just a clip of the video you were looking for. We don't have the full one, so is this the one right here?
Well, just to give you a little bit of a background, I don't think you got the full picture about what the system does, and it actually it can drape as well. And I did my many wedding dresses the same way you did, to drape it in a muslin and then put it onto a paper pattern, true it up, and then put it into your fabric and then your lace overlay. What the system does is also it can actually drape you see it done, all computerized, a draped fabric onto a model that's got the exact size, say, of your customer. So your customer's body is scanned in, so there's a virtual picture of the person that you're making the garment for. And believe me, and I'm sure you've got plenty of horror stories about making bridal dresses because they come in at a certain size and after 3 months they lose weight and you've got to remake them again. And so it's a nightmare working with customization. If you're working with a certain size and they're actually body scanned in, you've got a three-dimensional, I think you saw a little bit of that on Ram's other video, then that can then be made into a garment just virtually. And you can see without even cutting one bit of fabric, you've got a drape, you've got a look, you can change that look, you've got the finished look, all virtually without one stitch being sewn. And then your clients can maybe look at that and say, yes, that's what I want, or no, I need to have a lower front or a lower back. Then that can also be virtually changed. So instead of you going through different sampling and different sort of just making it sure that your client is pleased, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, right? So this is a way of cutting that down. If you can have that ability to rent the system and see the body scanned in, and then to produce that garment, as I say, doing virtual draping and virtual pattern making with the library that they have already made.
Can I just say something real quick? When you're saying that this body's being scanned in, now you have to go to the center to have it scanned in, or can you do it like on a mobile app or something like that?
It's getting to the point where you can do it on a mobile app, but I'm sure that Ram can explain some of that.
The picture that you have, like for the consultation process, if I take a picture of the actual client, I would scan that into the system, right?
No, it has to be a certain software for you to do a full body.
And by the way, I happen to be very lucky. My son runs another company of ours called Staiku. Staiku is the largest body scanning company in the world today. Not in the apparel, but in the healthcare. So whether it's Gold's Gym or LA Lakers or Miami Heat, or all of them use the same scanner for their trainers to look at the shape and decide where to help the athletes or people to lose weight or predict programs and so on. So anybody who wants to really go, we tell them to go to one of those places and get body scanned. Okay, that data comes to us, and we have that. Okay, but that's really for large brands. Could you run that video, please?
There are some malls now that actually can do a body scan. You go in there in a booth and do a body scan. There are stores now who are incorporating body scanning into it, so the garments can then choose a garment. Garments then cut, like Ram was showing you, cut and sewn and shipped to you at the end of the week.
So this is where the rack is. This is where the rack is. It's in all my 3D assets. I'm just pulling out on my dashboard the garments that I like some parts of it. Then I go to what we call the designer edition, which is $29 a month module. This is garment builder. All I'm doing is Frankenstein method, okay? I'm not a pattern maker. I like this sleeve. I want to see this. I want to see this. I have components from different styles, and I put it together. I just made myself a 3D sew-by sample. Okay, so there's a print designer. Okay, the print designer, that's visualization, that's for the $29 a month. They're different people. They're designing prints, but they need to visualize in the real scale of the garment, and they're able to do the placement of that. See how the garment is going to look like. There are 3 different prints in this one. I can print them 3 different ways, but here, I just made myself a storyboard without making a garment and had a design meeting. If everybody approves that, I will send that in cloud to my factory, and there they have a 2D pattern making system called TukaCAD. The TukaCAD that you could also rent for $200 a month. When I open in there, this style, all related patterns that I pulled out from different styles come in. So I don't have to make a pattern. I now give new properties of the material, because each fabric is going to behave differently. put it on the fit model, make a 3D garment, check in X-ray, check in tension, check the fit. Once I'm sure, I put it back in the cloud with the whole team to collaborate and say, is that what you wanted? I didn't have to make anything. I'm still in the digital space. Once I'm done, it's ready to go. It's that simple, really. So, we have what we call another $29 a month. I like that $29 a month. This is where the prints get matched to the fabric and we create a print file that can go in. So I have utilized the ink to go only on the pattern pieces that I wanted, multiple prints. Remember, the marker was made in the most efficient way as though it was flat pattern. Simple, solid pattern. So my front was going like this, my back was going like this because it really fits better, right? But if it was one-way print, could you do that? No. You'll have to put both of them, take extra length, right or wrong. But what is the advantage of digital printing? I can flip the print. Doesn't matter because it's printing. It's just doing digital data. 2005, I was the first company to develop this for a swimwear company. Digital printing had just come out. $200 a yard was the cost for doing the digital prints. 1 yard, $200. How much fabric do you take in a bikini, right? So I'm wasting 90% of the fabric. The guy came to me and said, we're doing 20 prints. You realize I have to spend $4,000. Can you not combine all these into make? So we made a marker of 20 styles. Each pattern piece had related data from the print files. And we created a print file. For a yard and a half, we had 20 garments. That was the birth of Microfactory. I have a full video on the YouTube if you want to see how did Microfactory started. It didn't happen overnight. Somebody got up and said, I'm going to invent a microfactory. But the history of Microfactory is a video on YouTube with Tukatech. Please watch it. Does that answer your question?
Do we have
by the way?
Yes. Yeah.
Answer my question, but I want to know where I can get the machine.
I will talk about that. I'm not here for the sales conference.
Okay.
And I'll be more than happy to have Mike deal with you on this one to tell you how. But I'm here to talk about what technology can do for you and to start thinking. And it's not that it's not affordable. So long as guys like me are around, I'm going to continue to make affordable technology. I am committed to that. At my age, $1 million doesn't make a difference to me. I've been very lucky and blessed. God has given me way more than I could spend, what I could ask for, so I can't even complain. I used to be a real bad guy before my heart attack. One heart attack fixed it. I realized I am gonna go. So while I'm here, I'm trying to make a difference. Make as many friends as possible so more people show up on the funeral, okay?
Ram, do you have a Chuka Center in Florida?
No, we don't. Again, we're not a sales organization. We have in New York, we have in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Nevada, Utah. I don't remember. Coming soon to Pima.